and welcome to Georgian Crossroads. This is Byrne, your host du jour. And today what we're going to do is walk through a little bit of very beautiful architecture that is being restored here in Tbilisi. This is the Academy of Arts building, and I think you're going to find it quite interesting. Remember, if you like this channel, to subscribe and share it. I could use a few more subscribers, and you can help with that. And remember to hit like if you like it. And let's go ahead and go and check out the Academy of Arts building. So if you walk down Kipshidze Street near Rustaveli Avenue, near Rustaveli Square, you will see the Tbilisi State Academy of the Arts, which was originally the Kobalashvili mansion. Now, let me show you a picture of what the mansion looked like originally, and it'll give you an idea of what you're not seeing behind the boards that have been set up to shield you from going into the building. The style was originally done in a kind of mix between the European and Oriental styles of architecture perfected by Iranian masters in the Qajar style. And so I had a couple of friends, Mariam, who got in touch with me and said, I want to show you something. She goes to the school, and she took me down into this dark building, one of millions of Tbilisi cats, hundreds of thousands we'll say. And we went not through the main entrance, but through the basement. So this is what it looked like when I entered the building. And it's just this fantastic array of mosaics of amazing materials done in this Persian style. Now, originally, after being a mansion, the place was also a club, a library, it was a hotel, probably all at once mixed together. It had a billiard room, it had halls for dances and for stage productions. Pretty amazing. There are some photos here I'll show you of what it looked like between 1869 and 1886, when it was a library and a pool hall. Pretty funny. In 1901, it became an art school for beginners, and eventually there was a middle school set up there for arts, and it took on the patronage of the Imperial School of Arts back in St. Petersburg. This, of course, was in pre-revolutionary Russia. And a Georgian architect, Simon Klidiashvili, was hired to restore and redesign it a little bit in 1902. Look at these amazing windows. Just incredible. All of someone called this in one of the essays I read a kind of Baroque Persian design, and it is. It has a lot of Baroque features to it, but it is very Persian. And I was just absolutely amazed walking through here. And you could see, as we walk through, how much is left to be done. Georgia became part of the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union took them over in 1921. There was a period of 3 years where Georgia was actually independent. But in 1922, this became the first Academy of Arts in the entire Caucasus region, and it was called the Public Art Studio. And actually, this was only one of three main art academies in all the Soviet Union. The Public Art Studio, and then there was another one in Leningrad, which is, of course, St. Petersburg, and Riga in Latvia. Now, many respected artists were a part of this academy. Check out some of these designs here. Very much, you can see the connection with this sort of art and Art Nouveau and the Baroque. It's the interlacing of flowers and such. Art Nouveau, by the way, is very much something that the Georgians connected to because they like the ornate styles of the involved, intertwined styles of design, which I think comes from having so many grapevines everywhere in the city. Respected artists and sculptors and architects all took part and were invited to teach in the academy, including people, great Georgian artists like Lado Gurishvili and David Kakabadze, who both had trained in France, in Paris, had come back and were now part of this academy. What a lot of people don't realize is that the early phase of the Soviet Union, while it had its repressive aspects to it, for many artists it was a more freeing period. And this was the time of constructivism. There was more of an expressionist element to a lot of the Soviet design. And we're now in the Hall of Mirrored Mosaics. When I entered this room, it's not that big a room, but when I entered it, it was just like totally psychedelic. You can just kind of see my reflection in there. I was really amazed by the designs. Now, this is the ceiling of this mirrored mosaic room, done in this kind of bizarre Persian style. I was just absolutely floored by this place. And it's kind of at the heart, in the middle. It's not connected to any windows or anything. You have to leave. There's Mariam, a brief glimpse of Mariam, who was one of my guides, Mariam and Natalie. And this is just one of the random roofs that was being repaired. The whole thing was just the most incredible architecture. Here is a statue that was just waiting for things to happen. Now, during the early Stalin years, the Public Art Studio, as it was called, was closed. And in 1933, the Academy of Arts was reopened under its present name, the Tbilisi State Academy of the Arts. And of course they had facilities for painting and sculpture, graphic arts, and eventually architecture again. And of course the problem was everything was supposed to be done in the new socialist realist style, socialist realism, which was the thing Stalin liked because it basically painted these heroic images of the workers. You know, you get these movies about tractors and how wonderful they are, and farmers and all of this, collectivization. But a lot of people during this period they had problems. If you were an artist and you were smuggling in any ideas, in fact, people who even smuggled in Impressionism were kind of had to leave. If they didn't leave the country and get out, they were in trouble because that was considered, just Impressionism, let alone all the rest of the modern stuff, was considered smuggling in these foreign ideas that, worked against the state. So the USSR kept a tight eye on the Academy of the Arts. And several important artists were executed during this period, including the first woman to graduate from the Academy. And many others, as I said, were forced to leave because they were basically guilty of having wrong, quote-unquote, ideas, unquote. So again, socialist realism was the style of the day, and yet, and I look around, there are these Stalinist Gothic buildings and such here in Georgia, and here's what I'll say about them. they're actually better than the postmodern or whatever this, commercial junk that gets put up these days. I'll leave it at that. It's a complicated story. Sometime I'll show you some architecture and let you know what I'm talking about. So that is Mariam, my guide, showing me another amazing room here with these, mirrored tiles on the ceiling and absolutely Baroque designs. I was just flabbergasted walking through this whole thing. And with Mariam is her friend Natalia. And so I owe them a lot of thanks for showing me this place. I had no idea it existed, although it's listed as one of the 10 most important architectural works to see in Georgia, and no one can see it. No one's been seeing it since at least 2015. After the fall of the Soviet Union and the independence of Georgia, the academy fell into neglect as a result of the chaos of the 90s in Georgia and the poverty that followed. And it was only in 2015 that they were able to find the money to start working again on restoring this amazing building to its, I don't know if original state. They are changing some features. For instance, they're adding some disability features so that people can come in here who can't walk up and down the stairs. This is looking down from the balcony on Kipshidze Street. And of course the scaffolding is still in my way. I visited here in 2019 and took these photos and videos, and it still had a long way to go. But you know what? The last year, hardly anyone has been coming here, so hopefully they had plenty of time to work on it. My guess is when the uncertainty of 2020 is over, visitors coming to Georgia will have a chance to see this again. Anyway, this, by the way, is in the actual buildings they're using in a large apartment block up from the real academy building. And this guy came and eventually said, "You're not supposed to film here." And I said, "Fine." I was done. So we'll leave it there. Well, I hope you found that as interesting as I did when I was walking through it. It is still not open to the public yet. I originally took this footage in fall of 2019, and again, a very special thanks to Mariam and Natalia for accompanying me and showing me the building. It was Mariam's idea all along, and so she deserves special credit for showing it to me. Meanwhile, come back again. We've got lots more to show you. Look at some of the other videos on this channel. They need more love. Well, from Georgia, this is Byrne saying Droebit. See you later.